Well, hello. This is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. So, as usual, I am in the chat room for the premiere of the episode on YouTube. So if you are listening in on YouTube and it's the premiere, then just you can log in into the chat room and ask me any questions you'd like. And if you're in Blog Talk Radio, then just you can leave questions or comments in the comments section, and I will get to those and address them at the next episode. So I hope everyone's having a good week. And as we start this process of walking both worlds, walking the world of spirituality and magic and walking the world of everyday stuff and going to the store and dealing with people and doing your job and all of that, I'd like to start off with the idea of finding your community, because I get a lot of questions about people who want to find those like-minded individuals, but they don't know how. They're not sure. And this work can be very, very isolating, especially if you have a tendency to spend your time with people who maybe aren't thinking along those same lines or asking those same questions or wanting to explore. And it can be very disheartening to have somebody kind of roll their eyes at you and to, make a comment or try to convince you that you're wrong, or, whatever it is that their come from is. So the idea of finding a community of people who you can hang out with, who you can, talk about these bigger questions, who you can get advice and mentorship through, and who, when you reach that point, you can mentor and you can help provide that support and that safe place. Because it really comes down to having a safe place, having a place where you're not judged, having a place where you're not thought of as weird. I've been a part of a community for the past 10 years here where my office is at the Center for Creative Living in San Jose. And if you're interested in finding out more about them, there's a link in the description. And it is a wonderful collection of eclectic practitioners from a lot of different traditions. And the best part is when someone comes in and says, it's like, wow, I've had this really weird experience, they have no idea how high that bar is set with this particular community. So if you're located in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, and you want to be able to have a very cool community to connect to, try the Center for Creative Living. And so, like I said, there's information for their links and what it is that they do and more information about that. And if you are somewhere where you're not close by to that, or you are just kind of beginning to try to find your community, there's a few different ways you can do it. And we're going to be talking about that. Also, how do you know a community is the right community for you? So those are the two things we're going to be exploring in this episode. How do you find a community, and how do you know it's the right community for you? So first off, ways to find communities. Well, it really depends on what you're doing and what you're into. Maybe you're into sort of paganish, types of works. You're very into earth magic, druidry, Wicca, any of the other traditions that are based in that, that sort of honoring of the ancestors, deep connection with nature, kind of magical aspects. Well, in finding something like that, there are usually communities that may advertise in, and you could, with Google and with the internet, we have the collective knowledge of the planet basically at our fingertips. So finding a community is a lot easier than it used to be. I mean, back in the day where communities were not as open as they tend to be today, because there were a lot of repercussions, judgment, and, people, maybe they didn't want their coworkers knowing what it is that they do. So there was a lot more secrecy about the communities, and now it's more open. Communities are much more likely to step out and to be recognized. So one of the first places I would check is there's a website called Meetup.com. And basically, it's where groups will list themselves, and you can just go in and search pagan groups, or you can search, you can set whatever parameters you want. Maybe you want to connect with Buddhist groups. Maybe you want to connect with energetic healers. Maybe you want to connect with with those who work with spirits or psychic phenomena. There's a lot of people listed. So my first suggestion, and Meetup.com, I believe, maybe international. I know it's through the US. So you can go there, and that gives you the opportunity to look for groups, and it'll tell you, it'll give you some information about, what type of group it is. You can see the calendar and, see what types of meetings they have, and if any are local to you and what you're interested in. So, they can set it by, you can set the parameters for what you're looking for and where you're looking for it. So groups like that, it's very easy to be able to kind of get an idea and get a flavor for different groups, and to find the ones in your area that at least have a particular following. Now, let's say you don't have that available to you, or you're not very tech into the whole internet idea, which is fine. There's no problem with that. Then usually, let's say if you wanted to find, people who follow a particular energetic healing tradition, what I would recommend is either going to your local bookstore. And what you can do is you can, especially a metaphysical bookstore. Metaphysical bookstores are a great resource for finding out what's going on in the community. And often metaphysical practitioners, whether they be healers or psychics, will often connect with the local metaphysical bookstore. So a lot of times people will be able to make recommendations from there, and it is a sort of a word of mouth recommendation. So it allows you to be able to interact on a better level and to get more background on some of the groups that are out there. Going to YouTube, you can look for YouTube channels that participate in, say maybe it's from a particular area. If you go into the About section of any YouTube video or any YouTube channel, and it'll give you an idea, usually they'll list where they are, or if they've got a website, and you can get more information from there, or maybe it's someone that you know. So there are, word of mouth is often the best. If you already know people who participate in particular ceremonies, who are connected to certain events, there are always folks like that, usually at wellness fairs and healing fairs or psychic fairs. You can go and you can walk around and you can meet people and you can take a look and have a chance to talk with people and interact. So, these are just some of the ways that you can be able to find somebody and, and find a group that's located near you that you would feel comfortable with. And again, it's very much about what it is you do. Now, let's say you're interested in Buddhist tradition. Well, then I would say, you can go to find the local Buddhist temple and you can speak to people there, because most of the time they'll have like meditation classes. Any place that has like a meditation class, or maybe you're interested in Indian traditions, like from India, and you're interested in Ayurvedic and things like that. Well, the local yoga class will probably have people who can guide you in that. Generally, it's very much about your gut feeling. When you are looking for something, kind of open up that intention. Say, you know what? I would like to find a group that does this or this or this, and just put it out there to the universe. And a lot of times it's amazing how things will get put into motion for you to find exactly what you're looking for. I've seen it many times, myself, where somebody will just come in and say, you know what, I saw this group advertised or this gathering advertised, and I wanted to see what it was like. If you're looking for Native American tradition, then usually there'll be powwows in a lot of different areas. They'll hold powwows, and those are a good place to go and start meeting people in those communities and making connections. And I do have people who comment that they're very shy and they have a problem just kind of stepping in and sort of walking into something, and they're not sure or they lack confidence. Well, there is a part of this work that is about transformation and transforming your hesitance into that confidence that, first off, that you can go into a situation and it is ultimately up to you whether or not you pursue that or follow it up. If there's a little metaphysical store that sells, maybe sage or cedar or, different types of things, you can go in there and you can ask, just look around, see what kind of calls you. So, there's a lot of different opportunities that are out there, a lot of different groups, a lot of different teachers. And it really is going to come down to, what are you comfortable with? And, do you want to meet a very, very large group? Do you want to meet a very, very small group? Do you have a particular thing that you want to learn? Maybe you're specific to healing work, so you want to find healers. So the other part of that is, once you've kind of gone through those ideas and, talked to people or, gone to metaphysical bookstores, forums are also a really great way, if you are willing to, go on the internet and connect that way, you can connect through forums and chat rooms. And you'll have a lot of different people who can, offer you a lot of different advice and possibly guidance toward a community. So once you've found something, or once you've gotten an idea that, some particular group is, that they might fit the bill, ultimately it's still about figuring out whether or not it's the right group for you. And this is important to me because I know that while there are some fantastic groups out there and there's some really awesome, people who are just about the work and exploring the work and growing in the work and helping others find their path, there are also groups where people are, more rigid. It has to be their way. And, that kind of, well, we don't know if you're good enough to be a part of our group, which really, really bothers me. It really rubs me the wrong way, because if everybody's finding their path and following their path, the whole point is it's that person's path and that's what you help with. You don't tell them, well, if you're going to be doing this, you have to do it our way. I mean, I don't believe in that, honestly. I just do not believe in that. And not saying that there are some traditions where there are ritual aspects to it, where it's like, oh, okay. And, and that would be something that would be a learning opportunity, but never accept that their way is the way. I don't know what the way is. And frankly, I don't think the way exists. I think there are many, many ways, and there are many traditions. So if you come into a group and either you feel uncomfortable, you feel, maybe like it doesn't mix, because this is also about, like I said, this is transforming you, empowering you, having you have that gut feeling, yeah, maybe this isn't the right group for me. If they're pushing for you to start forking out a whole bunch of money, I would say consider it. Are there things that, practitioners have every right, and it's okay to charge for, either healing work or teaching, and that shouldn't be the main thing. That shouldn't be the driving force behind it, because this is really about you learning about the things that you want to learn about. And don't get locked into, well, I have to do it their way, and if I don't pay, this much, this much, this much, just go into it getting all the information you can. Think of it as you're interviewing them. And that idea, it's like, okay, what are you offering? What is your philosophy? What are the requirements or the commitments that I'm going to have to make? Some groups that are very organized, they may say it's like, well, you have to attend every meeting, and you have to do these things, and you have to participate at this level, which there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's told to you up front, as long as that's the agreement. And it is important to, if somebody comes and kind of sets themselves up or as a teacher, well, then that is when you interviewing them is even more important, because find out, it's like, okay, what's your background in your tradition? What are the things that you've done? What has been your teaching path? What has been your student path? The best teachers I know are perpetual students, and they treat the information that they share as something that's very important, and it's about that person finding out what's right for them. And maybe after you talk to somebody, maybe the teacher says, well, you know what, I don't think our group is a good mix for you, but I do know of another group that you might really, really enjoy. So it's about exploring. It's about finding that thing that fits. And you don't have to have a reason that it doesn't fit. It doesn't have to be something that you will specifically say. It may just be a gut feeling that it's like, you know what, this is a really good fit for me. Or, you know what, I'm not really feeling comfortable. So figure out for yourself what's right for you, because that's at the foundation of any type of magic, is who you are, you being true to yourself, you knowing what your power is. Don't let anybody tell you that, well, you're new and so you're down here and I've been doing this for so many years and I'm up here. I have known many cases where a student will come in and start experiencing things and start being able to work at a level that people who have been doing it for 20 years cannot touch. And if they are really true practitioners, they will be very happy for that. And they will be very happy to help you with that. In my mind, the whole point of training or of participating in a community is that you grow and that you step up into your own power. I don't really support the idea of, well, you got to stay under me forever and then I will determine when you are ready to move on. No, you determine when you're ready to move on. You determine when you've learned everything you can from a particular way, and then maybe you try something else and you talk to different teachers. I think that it's great to try out multiple groups, just visiting, seeing how it goes, see what you feel comfortable with before you settle into one, and always be very clear as to what is your intention. What is it that you're looking for? Don't let anybody else tell you what you should be looking for, because this is about your journey. This is about you being true to yourself. This isn't about somebody else, indulging their ego and, getting you to come in and feel like less. If anything, they should look at you and say, you know what? There's a lot you can learn and you have a lot of potential. So let's see where this goes. Let's see what is it that you want to learn? Where do you want to be? So let this be your journey. Treat them as if you're interviewing them. And once you find your community, you're going to find that it really helps to have people you can talk to. So, good luck. If you have any questions, please contact me. And for those of you who are on YouTube, I would very much appreciate if you see value in this or in any of the other videos. And I have organized the playlist into the lessons, the separate lessons. So if there's a particular lesson you want to look for, you can go back through and find that one. So you can support the channel by hitting like. You can subscribe because it's really great to, see the community grow, and make sure you hit the bell notification because that'll let you know when new videos are coming up. I'm always, for the premiere of the YouTube video, I'm always in the chat room unless something happens. And if I can't be, I'll let you know. But, I'll be there to answer questions. And for those of you who are listening in on Healing House Radio, there is a link that will connect you to the YouTube channel so you can actually see the episode. And if you would like, you can subscribe over there. If you wish to support this channel, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Also, if you'd like to support at a higher level, in both descriptions for Healing House Radio and for YouTube are the links to my Patreon account, which for as little as $2 a month, you can help support and help me grow the channel and get better equipment and take classes to improve editing and all kinds of stuff like that. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section because I will check those. And if you wish to contact me, all the ways to contact me are in the descriptions. So thank you for joining me. And next week we'll be continuing our discussion of walking between worlds. And until next time, and as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you, and class dismissed.